Hello and welcome. It is Sunday, it is afternoon, and I have a lot of snacks to eat. Projects to work on. The project one. I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood, and we're here for 2 hours of productivity sprints, snacking, and hanging out. With me today, I have the one and only Sako Tumi. Say hello to the nice people.
Hello to the nice people. Howdy,
Yay.
neighbors. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as Voit. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things.
And you're a gamer, and sometimes you combine those four things.
Yes, my YouTube account is currently a gamer YouTube account for
So,
RPG things. I'm doing like a thesis sort of thing
ooh,
for um, gaming etiquette.
nice. That's
Eventually,
pretty
I'll
cool.
get back to it.
Right, yeah. So, and I'm sending out query letters for what I'm calling my space fantasy right now. And one of my goals for this year, I looked back at my goals and I realized one of the things I had put on my list is to write something for an anthology. Not like get it in, not like any expectations of publishing, but like write something short and send it out. So I might do some research on that today and
I
see if
might have
there's
links for you.
okay. But my biggest issue is that so often I'm not inspired. Like my
By
brain is
the
like,
topic, whatever
yeah,
that topic
yeah.
is. Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to look for something that matches a short story draft I have because I've got a bunch of those in rough draft format or
Mhm.
what. I think sometimes it's better to have the story idea and then find the place for it. But, having it
I
match can
I
be a
find
part
it way
too.
easier to use their prompt, but
Yeah.
I'm a Flash junkie,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like, I can
So,
write horror from
right.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was an exercise I wanted to challenge myself with. So I figured I would go and look into it. So,
I might have,
mhm.
like, some
Okay.
magazine links and website links and
I've got a couple places that I usually hit up when I'm looking for that sort of thing.
cool.
I mean, obviously, Submission Grinder, but there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
place that does the weekly or the monthly. Hey,
Do the
here are all the
monthly
call
or the
outs.
quarterly. There are some
Yeah,
that do quarterly and then
yeah.
yearly.
And I think I got on the mailing list for a couple of them because some places believe that when they send you a rejection letter that you'll send them more stuff and therefore they immediately put you on their mailing list and tell you about all the short story contests you're not entering after they've given you a rejection letter. So I'm a little, you know, just because you send
Oh,
one.
Twitch is working.
Oh, good. That's good to know. Uh, but yeah, so that's what I'm going to be working on today. So, what are you working on today?
Um, I'm somewhere between working on my choose your own adventure and trying to get over this third act hump in my outline for the sequel to Flambeau.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you do when you get stuck? I think the options are what's
What
the
is the
worst thing that
worst
could happen?
thing that can happen?
Um,
Um,
yeah. But there's also, thinking about what's going in the world outside of the character.
and that's exactly the point we're hitting is the magic flight and then the climax, which
Sure.
involves the meta
Yeah.
plot and
Yeah.
like and then the
Mhm.
breakdown.
Yeah. And I guess if you're leaning into the theme, if you already know what the story's theme is. I always
Mhm.
think I have a theme, and then when I write the book, I realize it wasn't what I thought it was. But if you have the theme, sometimes you can be like, okay, what does my main character need emotionally to grow from here to there at this point? And what's going to push those buttons?
Yeah, yeah, you have a good point.
So,
I so the idea is to The theme is basically coming into your own power and using community really to do so.
Nice.
So, um,
Does she need to break the community and realize what she's done wrong so that she can build it back stronger and better than ever? Or realize that her community was toxic and she needs a better one?
or maybe the community goes away and they have to use their
Oh,
powers that are, yeah.
thoughts and things. It's always tricky getting that.
Always tricky. I
Yeah,
might throw money at Jenna
sure.
because she's doing like coaching, outlining Preptober things.
Ooh,
So I have an appointment with her tomorrow, and I should be getting paid for a gig that I did this day.
hey, that's awesome. You've already been productive.
I did a thing for Tommy.
Nice.
So
Okay,
he wanted some concept art, and
cool.
did the thing. So I have a couple more fiddling bits that I kind of want to do before I call it done. But
Sure,
like it, for all intents and purposes, he doesn't have any more like changes to make or anything like that. I can
sure.
just refine what I've got.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And I really like it. I'm
Yay!
kind of hyped to post it.
That's super exciting. I'm so glad to hear that. Well, let me pop into the comments and say hi to people. Felicia is here. Hello and welcome. Andy swung by. Hello. We've got Rita. Oh my gosh, what a great crowd today. Let's see. Woo. And a cat trying to eat my hand. Did you know it was delicious? RC Scott made it. Hello and welcome. Oh, Patrick, yes, also has links for me for contests and stuff. But yes, do my research. I understand that
Yeah.
one. So, and Felicia said hi to Kitty. This is Catticus. Um, Sir Lord Inspector Catticus, fiercest of the kittykins, Sir bites a lot himself. So, let's see. Sarah is going to be here for soon, real soon, hitting like now. Hello, Marco Nimi. I think this is the first time he's hit my stream.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not technically on your stream. He's technically on mine.
That's fine. We can share.
But hello and welcome. And yes,
Yeah.
together we are strong. Absolutely.
And fierce and handsome.
It's all about the community kind of coming through for Kyler.
Mm-hmm. So, oh, and Sarah is hanging out on my Twitch and watching those Twitch ads. So far in 4 months, I have earned $2.50.
I haven't streamed on Twitch in forever.
Yeah. Well, I do the dual stream when I'm here. Oh my gosh, the wind is really picking up outside. I've got a thunderstorm blowing through, so I should be okay. I'm right behind the hospital, so their power like basically never goes out. But just as a heads up, it's a thing, it's happening. So Andy thinks that Catticus looked like he was reading the comments. No, he was watching my hand and deciding whether or not he was going to chew on it. But yeah, so, oh wow, the leaves are like raining down, even though the rain hasn't hit yet.
So the rain has been coming and going here.
Yeah, it's definitely been intermittent, but right now it's raining leaves, not water at the moment.
Yeah, like fall is coming.
Yeah.
We've got a tree that is like half gold and half green.
Okay.
So, and it's raining gold leaves.
Nice.
So,
I picked up
as usual.
I'm not bored yet.
So I picked up a footrest today. Oh, sorry. I'll let Soccer talk real quick. make dinner
What
plan?
fried rice?
Pork fried rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a footrest because I'm trying to work on not crossing my legs when I'm sitting at my desk.
Oh, I'm really bad at that. I'm
My
crossing my legs right
knee
now.
has started getting really mad at me when I stand up, though, and I was like, "Was I tucking it under me? I don't remember sitting on my leg, but it's not something I don't do." And then I realized, no, it's just because I crossed them over, and then I tucked the ankle behind the foot it's wrapped on, but only the left over the right, and yeah, so I'm getting lopsided, and it's
My
not
left
great.
over my right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great for my spine or anything else, or my knee. Um, I I I had a party yesterday, 2 weeks
Yeah, you
late for
did.
my birthday, and Sako came out and joined me. But about the 10th time I went down that flight of stairs, my knee said no. The left knee
Yeah,
no
I
longer goes
heard.
downstairs.
Yeah.
So I was just right footing the stairs or using the handrails to not have to bend the knee.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Going down the stairs is like super sucky
Yeah.
when your knee is angry.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, thinks that going up hills and upstairs is the killer part, but down is where you injure
Wow.
yourself.
Is
Down is what
because
hurts.
it's your weight and gravity that you're going against,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to using
Muscle
all the
fatigue.
muscles
Yeah, yeah,
behind your knee.
yeah. One is muscle fatigue and one is like joint damage. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know. RC has a great suggestion. Never bend the knee. That's not actually great for going downstairs.
No.
It's hard to go downstairs without a knee bend here and there. So
It's a controlled fall.
yes, yes. And I don't know if those steps are just a little deeper or I just never do stairs, but
No,
sometimes
they're steep.
okay, so it's not
It's
me
not
because
just you. They're
sometimes I feel like I fall that last half inch to get down to the step, which obviously isn't helping the joint situation.
right. Right.
Right.
I
Because
totally get that.
I grew up in a rancher and I live in a rancher now. So I'm like, is it just because I'm a weakling who's not used to stairs in a
No,
house?
they're high.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
high.
That makes me feel a
Because
little
they're
better.
because they're like most of my shin.
Okay. Okay.
One step is most of my shin. So
I
like
I don't know what normal steps look like anymore. I have
you
no
should come
clue.
to my house where all the stairs are.
Right. Right. Oh, I remember I was living in a townhouse right after I got my first big girl job, and I had guests over and I went and the stairs were carpeted and I went and I got everybody a tray of hot chocolate and I'm bringing it down and I slipped down to the landing and the hot chocolate like made an outline like who killed the Easter bunny all around me and I was just like I'm going to go shower now because it was sticky, but I didn't burn myself or anything.
Okay, good.
It
But
was just
carpeted steps, that's a thing.
dangerous, so
They are
dangerous.
dangerous. I agree.
So,
I busted my big toes. I'm
ooh.
pretty sure I dislocated them repeatedly on carpeted stairs.
Yeah. So Rita detests steep stairs. Whoop,
Hmm.
there we go. Mama Maggie made it. Hello, Maggie. Welcome.
Also, Mama Maggie is doing that 7-day challenge.
Oh, I wish I could, but I am a
I'm gonna
marathoner
try.
and not a sprinter. Also, day job, but yeah.
I'm gonna try. I'm not sprinting, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna try and crank out a novelette in
Ooh,
7 days.
that sounds pretty cool. Super cool.
So I'll get the lion's share of it done while I'm traveling.
Sure. That sounds really cool. I hope you have a lot of fun with that.
I just need to come up with a concept,
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
which
So,
might be what I do this sprint, is
okay.
coming up with a concept for my story.
Well, Catticus is enjoying the window, but I think I might start off the sprint with grabbing a snack and remembering that today is the best day of the week, Gushy Food Day.
Gushy food.
So I try not to be a monster. I try to remember the important things in life, like gushy food day and spoiling my cat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
so what about a sprint?
a sprint sounds great.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, wait, I already said it. The start's up here. What am I doing? Okay. Let's try this again. 3, 2, 1, boom, chaka laka laka laka. And we're back. I found 4 more agents that are still closed to queries.
Ah,
I'm like, okay, is this the one I really want? Let me reread their bio. Okay, closed.
closed.
So I got to get at least one more out today. So I keep having at least 3 out. So that's my priority before I start looking for an anthology to write for.
I think my 7-day project is going to be my paranormal romance.
Ooh. With horror elements? I just didn't know you wrote anything without horror elements.
Oh, it has horror elements, absolutely.
Okay. I was assuming. I mean, I've read your work.
It's a vampire lesbian story.
Excellent. I like it. So Sarah wandered off and missed what I was eating. I had not actually told anyone. I said I was going to grab a snack during the break. I ate some leftovers from yesterday of a thing we call bread salad, which has like homemade croutons and a dressing and cucumbers and tomatoes. And it's delicious.
It is good.
So. And I was packing it up to go, and I realized I forgot it, and I asked my friend who was hosting, and they went in, and their partner had just pulled it out with the intent to snack on it.
Oh.
And I was like, they could have had it. It would have been okay. And they're like, but it's your birthday. It's okay. So I stole somebody's snack.
Oh, well.
So I felt like I need. They said it was fine. They had plenty of cucumbers and tomatoes at home. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, but those are ingredients, not like nom putting your face ready.
Yeah.
So plus the gluten-free bread doesn't have a lot of structural integrity, so you can't let it sit more than a day, really.
Yeah.
Or it will completely dissolve.
Though with normal bread croutons, they will
normal croutons actually, yeah, also break down by the next day. Their best bread salad is usually best on the first day.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me pop into the comments real quick. Andy continued working on his short story. He got a dialogue heavy 454 words in. Nice. Rita is revising and changed up their first sword fight with new characters in a new location. Even the map was a mess from years ago. Maggie is ready for the 7-day book challenge with a spring and the MBA. Maggie has done so much research on plastic pollution. So yeah, her idea is to have nanobots disassemble plastic trash into tinier bits is a thing. Yeah. It is supposed to happen within a recycling company, but in my story, the male lead is using them to the wilderness without a way for the bots to bring the plastic bits out of nature. So, microplastic dust, the environmental poison of tomorrow. And Felicia just picked the kiddo up from practice.
Right on.
Pretty solid. So tell me more about what you're going to be working on.
Okay, so it is about a vampire named Annalie from Russia, I think.
Okay.
I have to double check.
Sure.
Yeah, she fled Russia and went to America.
Yeah.
And she meets a young orphan who is a musician, and they hit it off basically. And there, of course, are problems within the relationship and problems surrounding the two. Yeah.
Things are tricky.
The more Tenny understands what it means to be a vampire, the less she is likely to hang out.
That's
So
tricky.
all kinds of meet cute things, and then all kinds of like complicated morals versus I like this person though.
Yeah. Yeah. Things get complicated.
Things get complicated.
So that sounds really fun. So is this like a novella, a short story? Is it like going into a
It,
big novel?
I
The
would like it
start
to
of a
be
12-book series?
I would like it to be a standalone novel,
Okay.
but I think it's going to turn into a novelette.
Sure.
We'll see. I'll crank out 15,000 words in a week and see where I'm at in the story.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah. So
If I wrap it up, then
yeah.
it's wrapped
Yep.
up.
Yep.
You know?
Maggie says, loving a vampire while not being a vampire is complicated, but immortality sucks.
It does. So
So,
she goes through that trauma as well.
you know what? I think vampires really need therapists to help them fight that ennui.
And that is exactly what they are for each other, is
Aw. But,
therapists.
you know, that's not necessarily the healthiest thing to do in a relationship, to rely on your partner for
Right.
your emotional well-being.
Right.
Oh, am I seeing the problems? Whoops.
Yeah.
So, awesome. That's pretty cool.
I was co-writing it with someone.
Sure.
They were going to take over the character of Tenny,
Mhm.
but the mortal character, but she has been kind of like she dropped off the planet for a little while.
Life happens and
Life happened epically for her.
oh dear.
So
I
I
hope
don't want to
things are
bother her with
yeah,
I don't want to
yeah,
bother her with writing stuff for Tenny. So I'll probably
sure.
oh my god, gray hair. Oh.
Oh, you can't see my tinsel in this lighting. I have a fair amount though.
Oh my gosh. I have all
Do you know
kinds of
the best
silver
way
hair.
to see any gray silver hairs?
Hmm.
Bathroom lighting, because it's the down like right on your head. Really helps them shine. Do not cross legs. Use new footstool. Okay.
Use new footstool. Tell us about the vampires. There are two specifically. Um, they there is Derek, who is a club owner, and there is Annalie, who is kind of like his right hand first child sort of situation.
Okay.
And he wants to impress the prince, who is basically the leader of the city.
Mhm.
And Annalie could really care less until she sees this orphan on stage singing beautifully and
Mm.
playing guitar, and she decides that she is more invested in the orphan rather than the prince.
I mean, princes are boring.
Princes are boring.
It's true. It's true. So, uh, Maggie says, "Be proud of your tinsel. You
Yeah.
earned those strands." Yeah, they don't bother me too much. So, Maggie says that her lonely semi-immortal in the Relic of Time War series spends most of the first books depressed because he's the last of his people, except his crazy evil brother.
Oh, son of a gun.
Yeah. So it's always sad when a sibling is, not on your side.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 7-day book challenge.
Woo.
I went to the hashtag, and
Okay.
the hashtag is mostly the reading challenge as
Oh,
opposed to the writing challenge. So
okay.
I wonder if we should like last minute change the hashtag to 7-day writing challenge.
Maybe. So,
Life among humans is hard. Exactly.
for humans and non-humans alike, but in very different ways, I would assume.
Yes.
I mean, I assume the Venns overlap to some degree, but like
I'm sure they do. I
how
love you,
much?
okay? Um, and then the orphan is used as bait to draw Alani out.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So, you know what I think it's time for?
Another sprint.
No, a stretch break. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, Mama Ward. I think she was really organized this year. She's been hyping it up all week.
Nice.
Yeah. And she's been putting together the who's it spreadsheet for the sign up and stuff.
Yeah.
I hope we get a sticker.
I I think every time I work on like an event or a project, I always have so many ideas for how to do it better, even
Mm-hmm.
if I'm 100% burnt out and don't ever want to touch it again.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but and part of the problem is having the ideas and having the spoons to get it done and having the, enough people to like have all the things because
Yes.
at least like 80% of things that could be made better, but getting it done
Getting
can
it
be
done
a
is the
lot.
hard part.
Yeah. So,
She
um,
is very meticulous about things. That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
She's
And
all about setup.
Maggie needs to know if anyone else has an announcement video to add to her
Ooh, I
playlist.
guess I should do an announcement.
Ooh, schmancy. Aw, Sky has so much that needs her spoons, and Maggie is so amazed at everything she has done.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So,
I am baffled at how much Sky gets done.
yeah. So, now that we have stretched and might be planning on getting water during the break, um, sprint.
Sprint.
Okay, let's do it. Right? I would like to roll this shoulder and not have it click,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not where I am today.
Oh, shoulder blade.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's go ahead and sprint and see if I can find somebody who's not closed. Because when I was making the list, I couldn't pay attention to the closed unless it had a date because so many people normally reopen after Labor Day. And it is after Labor Day and they have not reopened. I went through 11 agents to get 3 to query the first time I was sending them out.
Yikes.
So, did you hear I got my first rejection in 14 hours and 55 minutes?
I saw the TikTok. Yeah.
So, yeah. But, it means I'm actually back in the trenches, and I
It does.
know the landscape is not as good now as it was when I first started querying.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's going to be a hard uphill struggle. But I also know plenty of people who got agents this year. So I don't, at least enough that I'm like, ooh, people are still getting agents. That's cool. Just enough
Right.
to make me think it's possible and that I'm not, working at
Yes, I
something
went
that's
to
not
feed.
going to go anywhere.
I went to feed one of your goats.
So, let's see. Maggie says, I need to go warm my leftover queso because it's always better the second day. I need to feed it to one of her goats? Yeah.
I might get a snack.
Yeah.
Because I haven't eaten yet today, but I don't want to spoil my dinner.
So something light.
So something like, I have kettle corn and apples.
I mean, it's a great week for apples.
Grapes.
I know, it was Jewish New Year, so they do the apples and honey.
Yeah. I do apples and peanut butter, but apples and honey, yum.
Also apples and caramel, and there's also the apples and cheese classic that you get from like D&D adventuring books.
Oh, really?
Slices of apple and slices of cheese. I like to get the sandwich pre-sliced, the cracker snacker cheeses, and put those on apple slices. Like I'll fold them in half and then each per slice.
Oh.
It's really good. I'm a sweet savory kind of girl, so.
I too am a sweet savory kind of gal.
So anyway, let's stop talking about snacks and like get to it.
Yeah.
So we'll start our sprint in 3, 2, 1, boom. Chakalaka. And we're back. How was your sprint?
Excellent.
Awesome. My roommate was.
I have
Go ahead.
a direction. I have a direction in
Yes.
which I can go without my co-writer.
Ooh,
So,
yay.
yeah.
I gave Catticus some treats, and then the roommate asked for help picking out a spoopy mug for she and some coworkers, instead of an Advent or a Secret Santa, are doing a secret Halloween thing exchange.
Oh, okay.
And she was trying to pick out a super cute mug because that person doesn't like really scary or spiders, but they do like the vibe. So I was looking at some mugs, and I saw one I thought you would like. So I could be wrong. But this vibe kind of called out to me to you.
Let me see if I can actually open it.
If not, I can share my screen.
Ooh, that's so pretty.
So let me.
Also looks enormous.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, they're a little pricey and a little ridiculous, but I was looking at that. They got the skulls at the bottom. I don't know. That just had a Sako vibe to me.
It does have a Sako vibe.
So I ran across them while looking for other people. So anyway, okay, I just wanted to share that real quick.
Okay, thank you.
And I sent out 1.5 query letters. I found some people who are actually open, one of which did reopen on the 5th, as per tradition.
Yeah.
So yeah. But then again, I've definitely seen agents talk about, hey, I've been open for 2 weeks and I have 1,000 queries, because I'm not sad that people were able to spend the pandemic writing the book they always wanted to, but I've been at it since before then, and they're getting in my way.
Yeah.
And I wish them luck. I just want to be at the front of the line.
Yes.
I think
you deserve to be at the front of the line, dagnabbit.
I know emotionally and reality don't mesh, but that's kind of where I'm at on that. I'm just like,
I feel
I've been
you.
working at this for a while now. So, but I mean, we all write different things, and just because I'm vibing with it doesn't mean the market is right now. So,
for Rizzle, at what point do you decide to self-publish?
I think if this one doesn't go anywhere, I will. I think it'll be time, because
for the
space fantasy.
Yeah.
I think the big issue with the first one that I had published is I've run into so many people who are like, oh, I wish I didn't publish my debut novel. There's so many things I would have done differently now. So I didn't feel that was the right one to launch with, because I haven't had any external validation. But at this point, I'm comfortable with what I do, and maybe it's not world-changing writing, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have a place, and I like it. And also, I think adult is an easier market than YA for selling online.
Absolutely.
Because of who owns credit cards and who has access to buying stuff online. So that's why I wasn't sure if YA was really and if I was going to launch it, I would have wanted to turn the sequel into not a hot mess before I launched the first one. So there's, work involved that I wasn't ready to. But if somebody picked up the first book, that would have changed it. And there was no reason to polish the second one until I knew the final
version of the first book.
Exactly.
So that you know what you're referencing.
Yeah. So I have a lot of excuses, and a few of them are even valid.
Yeah.
So But yeah, as I'm on TikTok, I have people being like, "What? You're not published?" Because they're just coming across me, and I was like, and then they say, "Oh, I write fantasy and I've got 15 books out." I'm like, "I don't write that fast." Or sorry, they write romance and they have 15 books out. I'm like, "Romance does amazingly. Other genres not as much, depending on how they hit and the market, but romance is an easy sell indie."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Horror and sci-fi is a
yeah.
little tougher.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's easier if you have like a series in those genres, but I don't have that series yet, so that makes it a little harder to do that indie
I
push.
do a lot of standalones,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like I don't know, maybe someday someone will want to pick up Damned Hitman or something,
Sure.
in a
Yeah.
different format.
Yeah.
But
I
as it stands,
yeah.
I'm not expecting a lot.
I am debating right now for NaNoWriMo. I don't know if I want to try my suburban fantasy again or
Mm,
if I want to try to write something in the same world as my space fantasy with like secondary or tertiary characters that are mentioned. So it's not a sequel, but it's playing in the same world.
which kind of counts as a sequel in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. So I'm trying to decide if that's the direction I want to go with this.
Maybe some time has passed. What's the
Yeah.
world like 20 years in the future?
Maybe I was going to just take secondary characters and twist their own fairy tale around it.
You can do it that way too.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do want to someday finish that space or the suburban fantasy, but I have some ideas for why it wasn't working and how to go at it again. And I mean, my space fantasy, for those who are newer, it took me two nanos to write it. The first one, it turned into a story of school field trips and tax fraud.
Yeah.
And while I'm fine with story shifting, that wasn't the story I wanted to tell. And so I managed to salvage like 40,000 words. It's not like it was all a waste the first run at it, but so yeah.
Yeah.
I think both of the books that I have finished and polished took me more than one go at it.
Oh man, it took me 11 years to do Hope's Chest. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
The idea that you did it in 2 years, like, huh.
Yeah. I was it 2 years? Did I do it 2 years back to back? I don't even remember. But I mean, I've been
2
polishing it
nanos.
since
2
then. Yeah,
nanos.
2 nanos. Yeah. So,
So,
well, let me pop into the comments and see. Oh, right. We're no longer on the creativity sprint. We're on the
yeah.
how did it do?
How
Sorry.
did you do?
Switch up the banners. Okay.
Yeah.
Maggie ate queso and edited part of a chapter.
Neat.
And for the skull mugs, liked the blue ones with the skulls at the bottom. It reminds her of the lake in Tibet with several hundred skeletons in it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Rita is getting frustrated, but Rita says, this chapter is taking me hours. It's like writing it for the first time. Maybe too much distractions for me. Are we being too distracting?
Are we being too distracting?
And Andy says, different markets have different challenges. That said, I admire how organized and focused most romance writers are. They know how to, quote unquote, hustle.
Sarah Cannon.
Yeah. I'm not saying if you write a romance, indie is easy. I'm just saying the market is there and people
The market
are
is already there.
Yeah. So Andy cranked out, oh my gosh, another 673 words and did some editing.
Wow.
Writing machine. So Rita, it wasn't us. Rita's mind was distracted and was texting a friend.
Oh,
So
okay.
not us.
It's taking hours because she's texting a friend.
So, right. Aw, Maggie says the fur baby licking my hand while I'm typing is distracting.
It is.
I have to watch out for my cat because Catticus has decided Mama's water is better than his water.
Oh.
And has started drinking out of my cup. And if he can't get all the way down, I don't know if he's knocking it over on purpose or trying to get down that far and ends up knocking it over incidentally. So I have to.
My Nobu used to do it, used to knock things of water or tea or whatever over to get my attention.
Ooh.
And usually they wanted my attention so that I could feed them.
I mean, have you considered feeding them? So.
He was not really knocking around water when we lifted the diet.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rita said one of their cats came to visit. Yeah. We get it. Maggie says a warm kitty purring and grooming the human makes it hard to make progress. 100%. 100%. So.
I have a sleeping Pabu.
Andy says he can only do this sort of writing progress because he has the story planned out. I am so glad being a planner works for you. That's awesome. Knowing what he's doing so he can keep going. Also, Zoe has started drinking out of his wife's cup. Cats are punks.
Cats are punks.
Oh, Maggie says Cricket would dip water, then dump the rest because she didn't want the other cats to get her glass of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catticus, I have a cup holder in the recliner. Oh, hey, that's where he ended up. And he gets so frustrated because he can't get into it if the water's too low, and he can't knock it over because it's in a cup holder.
Yeah.
So he'll just bat at it and be like, why is it not tipping over?
Yeah.
But when I don't have a spray bottle, I have been known to dump water on his head. So from my water cup.
I tried to do that with Nobu and it did nothing.
Yeah, different cats, definitely. But this one does not like getting sprayed in the face, and
I assumed
not like water dumped on him.
I assumed Nobu had experienced the concept of rain while he was feral. So
I mean, so is Catticus. That doesn't mean he liked it.
Well, it's not like Nobu liked it. He just didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, like he would just continue doing the thing. And
yeah. I still have a stray cat. I should probably call animal whatever or something and report it. But I'm putting food out and it's got water. And somebody else started putting food out too. So I'm like, is it actually somebody's cat? I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hanging out in a storm drain around the corner from me.
Oh.
But when it's raining, it's not there. It has somewhere else to hide. And I was really relieved. I think you missed the episode when I was talking about the stray cat.
Yeah, I totally missed that episode.
Yeah. So I found it about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks now, 2.5 now. And it meowed at me as it walked into the storm drain. And I was like, are you leading me to something? And I looked in and like, there's no kittens or anything like that. So I brought it some food and water because it was a super hot day. And the neighbors let me know that there's a creek behind the house. So it has access to water, even if it's a really shitty hunter. It can probably hunt creek water.
Yeah.
But
hi, Ursi.
Hey, welcome back. So I posted on Nextdoor. I posted on Facebook, the local group, just to make sure that it's not somebody's cat that they're missing, because apparently it just showed up a couple of weeks ago. So my mom had the horrible idea that
there's the possibility that someone moved and left the cat behind.
Yeah, my mom had the horrible, maybe they got a kitten for the kids during the summer and now the kids are back. They lost the cat. It is like just down the street, like a 2-minute walk from the local elementary school. So I don't know. But I posted it and nobody's claimed it. I don't know if it has a chip, so I should probably take it in and see what we can do.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
So
I would do that instead of calling animal control.
yeah, it won't let me catch it. I haven't been able to touch it. Like, it doesn't run away from me. It'll let me sit, and I got my hand this close to it so it could sniff my hand, but we haven't gotten to petting or rubbing against my ankles or anything like that. So I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So Maggie says that half her cats will play in the rain or jump in the bathtub or dish sink. Yeah, Catticus loves running water. Like, if the sink's on, he'll bat at it. And he started going after clean toilet water.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Drinking from the toilet?
Mm-hmm. Not when, like, anything's in it.
No, thank God. But drinking from the toilet at all, not great.
So maybe it's a sign I need to clean his water fountain.
Yeah, probably.
So that's been
I would do that like once a month.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff like grows in it, and there's all kinds of debris from the cat. And
it visually looks fine, but yeah,
it visually looks fine until you take it apart and wash it and stuff.
Yeah,
like that. And then you see black mold, and
he'll probably like it better fresh.
Great.
So, but yeah, so cats.
Being a cat mom,
it's a thing. It's an obligation and an honor.
Indeed.
So he was giving me all the snuggles the other day. Well, do we want to do another short little sprint, full length sprint? What are you thinking? We'll be running over if we go full length, but not by too much.
I think we should chill out.
Okay.
Cat Mama for sure is one of the best.
Oh, Andy had to head off to dinner. Thank you and good luck. And
enjoy dinner.
I do. So.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, so I got a project that I can start tomorrow. And I've made an appointment with Jenna so that I can get over this third act wall that I've hit in my outline.
Sure.
For the sequel. And I'm slowly chipping away at the choose your own adventure. I don't know. I might re-outline it now that I've written some stuff and see, because I read a book on choose your own adventures and it equates it to like the hero's journey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it tells you like what beats are like you're telling the story and then what beats are decision points.
Okay. That makes sense.
And 15 to 30 levels is recommended.
Okay.
Currently I am 4. So we will see what I can.
Even for shorter length stuff?
The shorter length stuff is like 15.
Yeah. So you're not that far off if yours is going to be shorter.
I intended on making it a novel.
Okay.
But I've come up with basically 8 stories that I kind of want to flesh out a little bit.
Sure. I thought you were talking about it as a novella, or did I get it mixed up with the other story?
I think you got it mixed up. Yeah.
Oh, with the vampire thing. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
I have lots of projects.
I hear you. I know these feels, all these feels.
So what about you? Like any new projects like simmering on the back burner?
Not right now. I'm just debating what to do for Nano and gonna look around to see what sort of short story anthology things I could put together in the next month or two before
Yeah, that
Nano
sounds good.
starts. So, but I want to try and get to like 5 to 8 agents being queried at a time, but it takes a while to send them out and prep it for everything. So
Mhm.
I'm not one of those people who like plunks it in and mass emails 20 people at once, which agents hate.
Yes. Do you have to write a cover letter with your synopsis stuff with your
So there's the
query
query
letter?
letter. It's the query letter, and especially in the US. So in the US, you're supposed to have a query letter. In the UK, sometimes they want a query letter, and sometimes they want a cover letter. And a cover letter is more like what you send in with a short story. It's a, hi, here's my story. It's a tale of this and that and the other. I hope you like it. Where the query letter is, these are the stats, this is my bio, and here's like pulling you into the world. Here's the main character and their emotional stakes and what they want and what's in the way. So it's a little bit longer. And
Right.
agents want anywhere between 0 pages and 50 pages.
Oh,
Sometimes they want
depending
it.
on the agent, obviously.
Mhm. And usually, if it's an email, it's copy pasted into it because attachments are often blocked by people they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are using Query Manager, which integrates with Query Tracker, and it's a form that you fill out. And usually you copy paste into it. But the second agent today wanted me to attach a Doc X of the first 2 chapters.
Oh,
And sometimes they're like 20 pages or your first 2 chapters. Whenever they do that, usually you want to round up and give them the most pages possible. But one of the things you also want to look at where you're leaving off the story
yeah.
to see if you want to entice them into more. So yeah.
Right.
And some agents with like manuscript wish lists and stuff give you, I want stories about families and relationships. I want a really character driven. And some are like, I would like sci-fi and fantasy. Thank you. And it's like, thanks. I already knew that from the genres you represent. If you could tell me more about the type of story, I won't waste your time and mine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes they do that because they don't know the story until they see it. They don't have any particular thing they're looking for, and they're open to the whole spectrum. So they don't want to limit what's getting sent their way or OD on that one subgenre,
Mm-hmm.
So it's tricky, and I understand. Some of them really want you to personalize your query letter. Usually it's I'm querying you because this and that and the other. And I'm okay putting that line in if I feel like there's actually something I can talk about other than I see that you represent the thing that I am sending you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just feels like pandering to me, and it should be evident by the query letter. And if they can't read between the lines, we might not be a good fit. But some of them want it just to make sure that you actually read their bio, as just kind of a, please show me that you are actually
Researching the person that you're
Yeah,
submitting to. Yeah.
exactly, and not just mass emailing. And I understand that. It's just, yeah. But like if we
Like
have an
any
actual
job,
connection,
really.
yeah, it just feels forced and fake, and I don't like it.
I kind of want to, once I get this outline finished,
Mhm.
I kind of want to start with a query type letter
Yeah, I find
You
it
know, I'm not submitting
amazing.
it anywhere,
Yeah,
but I just want a really good grasp of the themes and the characters and, everything like that.
yeah,
So
yeah. I find
so
writing
I
the query or the synopsis after the rough draft really helps me focus where the edits are gonna go.
yeah, exactly.
And that way I can play on the themes that I'm talking about so that they're strong within the story. But I feel like a lot of people who set out to write a story about a particular theme end up, you know, afternoon school special.
Oh,
Let's talk about the dangers of drugs or red flags in relationships or, it
yeah.
a lot of times the story turns more in about the theme than the plot and the characters.
Hmm.
And it feels a little preachy and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So,
I try to make some kind of statement about how things are,
mhm,
in a very dark, horrific sort of context.
sure.
And some things are even more horrific when you put it in a mundane setting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So uh, that's kind of like it acts as a way of telling and exposing the wound in society
Sure.
that I'm trying to
Yeah.
expose.
Right. That makes sense. So,
Just
yeah.
about every story I write has that kind of like underlying what is fucked up about society or about this person and therefore society, you know, and how would you I fix it or
Mhm.
adjust the world around the character in order to make them, you know,
Yeah.
actually flourish.
Yeah. I think one of the things I've really found is in a lot of the stories I write is the story of faith and belief. I was talking to Sarah after she posted something about DS9. I think I really watched DS9 at a formative age, and so I like to create religions and like see how people interact with them. And even the stories I write that don't have gods or goddesses or whatever in them have some sort of my school play story was about the power of belief. Whatever character in the book you really identified with, you could start to physically change to be closer to that character. Like it's all
Mhm.
about the power of belief, which
Sure.
and it also ties into, you know, do you believe in your family members and the people you're supposed to trust? So I explore a lot of things, but I see that one cropping up repeatedly in my writing.
The more mundane the setting, the horrible some things appear, especially when the other characters ignore the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is something that I address a lot in The Damned Hitman
Mhm.
is like he is not a good person. And there are certain aspects of his personality that he needs to tweak, like for each book,
Sure.
for
He's
each
damned for
arc.
a good reason. So, let's see. Maggie says, I love that in books, religions, and holidays, and customs, and prayers, and slang. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
So, I mean, you just have to think about the type of world you are in and the characters and the species and what sort of things are important to them.
Exactly.
So so
Well
yeah,
put.
I have a lot of fun playing with it. It's yeah.
That's really funny. Is like I've never really like picked apart my practice
Mhm.
You know, when I write, and like, it's kind of interesting that that's how I boil it down. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And, it's not necessarily that I set out to write about that, but in
Right.
when I'm building a culture, it's gotta have something,
I
And I
don't normally pick the theme before I write the book.
yeah, yeah,
A lot of times I'll do the zero draft, and then I'll see if I came up with a theme somewhere in that, and
sure.
then I can rewrite the book with the theme in mind.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So, I think my problem with the suburban fantasy that I tried to write last Nano is that I went into it wanting to write a series and thinking about those bigger high level things rather than focusing on the story I was actually telling.
Okay, so the way I handled Damned Hitman
Mhm.
is I wrote the third book first
Okay.
so that I knew what I would be referencing in books 2 and 1.
Okay.
And then I wrote book 6, which was the last book.
Okay.
And then that way I could fill in the gaps with
Mhm.
book 4 and 5,
Sure.
right? So because I have this enormous story, I
Mhm.
find it easier to like mention things in passing and
Yeah.
then be like, what is that thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find it easier to write the books out of order.
Okay. I struggle even writing chapters out of order, so I don't know if that would work for
No,
me.
I
I don't
can
know.
kind of get the like I will often write stories out of order for sure. But
Mhm.
that's if I'm doing it in Scrivener
Mhm.
and like I've got all the stuff
Yeah.
set up for it and I can move things around and
So I had a question about Scrivener this week, and Doc said
Mhm.
we could talk about it later, but you're here, so I'll talk
I'm
to you
here.
instead.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate like a draft? Like, do you download it when you're like, okay, here's a
I
draft?
make a whole
No.
new file.
Okay. Is it like a folder of files? I like because I
No,
thought each chapter was its own file or something like that in Scrivener.
each each scene is its
Yeah.
own file.
Yeah.
And you can move the scenes around and
Mhm.
you can organize them into chapters and
Right.
organize the
And
chapters
then you
into
compile it and it spits
acts.
out a document.
And you can compile it as a docx.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you just download the docx.
Uh-huh. I would do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious, or if there was like some version control, you just plunk a label on a certain day and then you can see the changes and stuff like that.
You can do it that way, but I feel like it would get real muddy real fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially once you start getting into drafts 3 and
Yeah.
4.
Because I've done document version control on documents, and like if you reformat it or change the font, it thinks everything's changed.
Yeah.
So because everything has, but not in a substantial way, and so
I've
um,
been writing in order a lot
okay.
lately. So
Do you
when
think
I've been
that
starting when
mhm,
I've been starting a new story, I've been writing it in order.
okay?
Like Flambeau was written entirely in order.
Wasn't it co-written though?
It was.
Do you think that made you write more in order than you would have otherwise?
Um, I think it kind of prepared me
Okay,
to do that.
sure,
Um, though we took turns
mhm,
with the document,
sure,
so I feel like it was kind of like we were prompting each other to move forward with the story,
okay,
you know?
yeah,
So
yeah,
when one person was writing, the other person was editing, and usually there wasn't a lot of editing happening.
Sure.
I would go back in and like flesh out horror type things and descriptions of people and places and
Sure.
stuff like that, because she is very a white room dialogue heavy sort of
Okay.
writer,
Yeah.
and mysteries and stuff like that. So like she comes up with the plan at the end and then she leads up to, she kind of like trails off with the clues,
Sure.
and that's basically what we're running into with the sequel, right? So we're working in Google Docs because it's the easiest way to co-write with someone,
Yeah.
and we're basically having conversations in comments so that when we actually write the outline, we can include some of the commentary and decisions that we made in the commentary.
Nice. That's pretty cool. So, Rita said that they struggle to write out of order too. Rita sometimes splits up chapters after a few revisions. Can't even imagine writing books out of order. Well, Sako said she writes the scenes all together. So, splitting the scene or the chapter across chapters, I think, is a revision sort of level
It
thing.
is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And
I don't rearrange the chapter if I split it. I just put it on opposite sides.
I also start the book at the inciting incident, and then I'll go back and rewrite the first chapter
Mhm. So,
once I finish the whole book.
okay. Okay. That makes sense.
So I'll just write gobbledygook basically just to
Mhm.
get the story started and
Sure.
to kind of like feel out the character and feel out the
Yeah.
setting and stuff like that.
Sure.
But a lot of times I'll throw out that chapter in revision and I'll rewrite the first chapter to be a summary of the major plot.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you've been doing that forever. So I'm so glad it works for you. I haven't tried that. I really, when I'm starting a story, need to get that first chapter right. Not for the story's sake, but voice wise, it sets
Voice
the
wise,
tone.
yeah.
If I have like an opening sentence or two that has the vibe I'm going for, that really helps the story. And if the opening sentence's vibe is wrong, the story is not going to work for me. So, like, even if I throw it away in edits, I've got to get something with that character's voice to get the story to flow. So that's
Yes,
one of
absolutely.
the things I try to come up with before NaNoWriMo starts, is to get that first sentence just so I know, is this a snarky character? Is this a sweet character? Is this, the just, are we going to have a lot of asides in this story kind of thing,
Sure.
So,
I totally get that. The want to I don't yeah, my brain is checking out.
well, it is 6:30.
It is
So,
6:30.
thank you all for joining us. I know we only had two sprints today.
Was it 2 or 3?
Was it 3?
I think it was 3 because we
Okay.
were about to do 4 and then we decided not to do 4
Okay.
because it
Okay.
would run over.
I'll believe you. I'll believe you. So, tell
Oh,
people who you
yawn.
are and where they can find you.
You can Google let me try that again. You can Google Sako Tumi, that thing, or cast Voit, and you can find my websites, my social media, my gaming stuff. You can, yeah, you can find any of my projects.
Sure. So, and I am your host, Morgan Hazelwood. I blog, vlog, and podcast writing tips from the pros, and my own Writerly Musings over on the podcast, Writing Tips and Writerly Musings, wherever you get your podcast. This week, I was talking about fairy tale contract law, how there's usually a loophole, and how you have to do something in order to be bound by it. Whether you know it or not, you have assumptively consented to the guidelines within it by trespassing or, actually physically agreeing to the terms. And over on the blog and the vlog on YouTube this week, I was talking about adverbs. When are they wrong? When are they right? And how to minimize them and that sort of thing. And how to recognize them as a part of speech. It can be tricky if it's been a couple years since you've done grammar or your teachers were kind of slacker on it.
Oh, I've been helping Kibby with her first chapter and grammar and stuff like that. And like, it's so cool seeing her grow with each
That's awesome.
revision. Like, it's really cool.
Awesome. Felicia says this was a great stream.
Question mark.
Chatting is nice. Rita says we needed a break. Hello, Jacob. Red Spy Red King Red Spy Red X is here. Good to have you here, Jacob. Although we're getting ready to head out. Maggie says be blessed and have a lovely day. So
absolutely.
Yeah. It's been, I think, a pretty solid day. And hopefully I'll get some more letters out and maybe find a project to work on. And I'll be back next week with that. So thank you all for coming. Have a lovely week. Oh, I forgot to mention I had an exciting thing happen yesterday. I hit 1,000 subscribers on my blog.
Yes.
So that was super exciting. I've been blogging writing tips and writerly musings over on morganhazelwood.com since 2015. And I know 1,000 isn't a lot to some people, and it's, beyond the scope for others, but everybody's goal is somebody else's milestone is somebody else's, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a huge milestone, and I was very excited. And I know metrics don't matter. It's the people who are there and hanging out with me and finding value in my work that really makes it worthwhile. So, and I'm going to shamelessly plug, I have a Discord if y'all want to hang out with me there.
Oh, cool.
So let me just toss an invite. Whoop, if y'all want to come hang out. It's for writers, creators, or people who just enjoy genre stuff to come and chat. So, but yeah, thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful week. Stay cool, stay awesome, and we'll be back next week. Bye.
Sweet.